Coin on.
Hey there, YouTube coin community. It's Dustin with CoinOp, and today we are going to take a look at the most popular wheat cent varieties. And by most popular, I mean that these are the varieties that you should be able to find in almost every major price guide, whether it's PCGS's price guide, NGC's price guide, the Red Book. You typically will find these varieties in there. So let's dive right on in.
First up, we are taking a look at a 1909 VDB double die obverse Lincoln cent. Now on this one, doubling is the strongest on the word liberty and on the date. Now if you are looking at the date, you can find doubling on the 1, 9, 0, and 9. And if you are looking at the word liberty, you can find doubling on the R, T, and Y. Now if you do happen to find one of these while coin searching, circulated examples, they start out at around $30 and trade upwards of $120. While uncirculated examples, now they tend to start out at around $150 and have traded over $17,000 for a nice high-grade example. Now we are taking a look at a 1909 S over horizontal S. Now this one is a repunched mint mark, and repunching shows on this one as a horizontal mint mark underneath of the primary mint mark. So you are definitely going to want to pay very close attention to the mint mark. You want to look for that repunching. Now if you happen to find one of these very popular repunched mint marks, circulated examples, they tend to start out at around $30 and trade upwards of $300. While uncirculated examples, they tend to start out at around $325 and have known to trade upwards of over $28,000 for a really nice high-grade example. Now we are taking a look at one of the more popular wheat cent double dies. We are taking a look at the 1917 double die obverse. This is the 1917 double die obverse. This is a very strong double die and a very, very popular one. It does command some nice values. Now on this one, doubling shows on the date and in God we trust. So you want to pay attention to the date and the words in God we trust. Now if you're lucky enough to find one of these, circulated examples, they start out in really low grade for about $75, and in high circulated grades can trade upwards of $3,500, while uncirculated examples, they can trade between $3,700 and all the way up to $135,000. Now we are moving on to the 1922 no D with the strong reverse. Now in 1922, all of the Lincoln cents should have a D mint mark, but they accidentally overpolished and polished away the mint mark, so there are a few of them out there that feature no mint mark. You want to find one of these, and you want to pay close attention to the reverse. The ones that have the strong reverse are the most desirable. Now in 1922 plain, as they are called, they start out at around $475 and can trade upwards of $6,000 for a circulated example. While uncirculated examples, they start out at around $12,000 and can trade all the way up to $185,000 for a very nice high-grade example. Now we are taking a look at the 1936 double die obverse. Now this double die is the type 1. There are many double dies for the 1936, but we are going to focus on the strongest, the type 1. Now this one shows very strong doubling on the date, in God we trust, and on the word liberty. You can find doubling all over this coin. It is a very strong and beautiful double die. Now, if you happen to find one of these circulated examples, they start out around $50 and they can trade upwards of $600. while uncirculated examples, they tend to start out at around $1,100 and can trade upwards of $45,000. Now we are taking a look at the 1941 double die obverse, the 1941 double die obverse Lincoln cent. Now on this one, doubling shows in the date, but it is the strongest on the words "In God We Trust." So you definitely want to pay attention to the motto "In God We Trust" on this one. Look for that really strong doubling. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these circulated examples, they start out at around $50 and can trade upwards of $325. While uncirculated examples, they tend to trade for around $375 and all the way up to $6,000. Now we are taking a look at one of the most faked varieties out there. We are taking a look at the 1943 bronze. In 1943, they needed the bronze and copper for the war effort, so they struck all the Lincoln cents that year in steel. Well, somehow a small, very small handful of planchets from 1942 got mixed in, so there are a few of them that are struck on copper bronze. Now, this is the most faked coin out there. There are just tons of 1943 steels that people have replated with copper bronze or have tooled a 1944 to look like a 1943. But if you were lucky enough to find one of these, a 1943, a 1943D, or 1943S struck on copper bronze tends to sell anywhere between $1 million and upwards of $1.5 million per example. So if you did happen to find one of these while coin searching, make sure you get that thing immediately graded and authenticated, because it is a very valuable coin. Now we are taking a look at a 1943 D over D. This is a repunched mint mark, but this is a very, very, very popular repunched mint mark. So this is on the 1943 steel, and this is the Denver mint. You can clearly see repunching underneath of the primary mint mark. This is a very bold repunching with a nice far spread. Now, if you happen to find one of these beautiful repunched mint marks, like I said, this is a popular one. Circulated examples, they start out at around $55 and can trade upwards of $360. While uncirculated examples, they tend to start out at around $450 and can trade upwards of $21,000 for a really nice high-grade example. Now we are taking a look at the 1944s that were accidentally struck on the 1943 steel planchets. Again, there's a handful of those out there for each of the mint marks. So on these ones, you're looking for a 1944 that has a steel planchet. And if you happen to find one of them, a 1944 or a 1944D struck on steel, they tend to trade between $75,000 and $150,000 a piece. And a 1944S struck on steel, that tends to trade upwards of around $350,000 per example. Now we are moving on to the 1944 D over S. This is a 1944 D over S. This is an over mint mark. The primary mint mark was punched over top of the remnants of a different mint mark. So when you are looking at this one, you are going to want to pay close attention to the D mint mark. And you can clearly see, especially on the top side of it, the north side of it, remnants of an S mint mark punched underneath of it. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these, on this over mint mark, examples start out at around $45 and trade upwards of $300 for a circulated example, while uncirculated examples, they start out at around $400 and can trade upwards of over $1,000. Now we are taking a look at the king of wheat cent double dies. This is the most popular double die in all of the Lincoln cent series. This is the 1955 double die obverse, a very extreme, bold double die that every collector has to have in their collection. Now, if you are taking a look at this one, you can find doubling clear across the entire obverse of the coin. So you can find it on the date. You can find it on Liberty. You can find it on the motto, "In God We Trust." Basically, you can find doubling anywhere that you look on the obverse of this coin. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these, circulated examples, they start out at around $950 and can trade upwards of over $3,000. While uncirculated examples, they start out at around $3,000 and they can trade upwards of over $125,000 a piece. And while I was present at a Stax Bowers Gallery auction, I saw one of these high-end 1955 double dies sell for over $115,000. So I know for a fact that these definitely sell for big money. Now we are taking a look at one of the rarest double dies in this video and in this series. We are taking a look at the 1958 double die obverse. Again, this is a very bold and strong double die. You are going to want to pay attention to the word Liberty and "In God We Trust." Now, currently, there is only just a couple of these out there. I believe there's only 2 examples or 3 examples of this variety out there. And I got to see one of these sell in a Stax Bowers Galleries auction, and the one that I saw sold for well over $300,000. So the estimated values on these are between $336,000 and $500,000 per example. Wow. And also, while you are online, head on over to Christopher Rhodes' blog site, Adventures in Coin Roll Hunting. Now, Christopher Rhodes is one of the admins of CoinOp, and he started this blog site. Now, recently, he did this nice long blog on the history of wrappers, of coin wrappers. So he did an illustrated history on it, and it is just an amazing, amazing read. You really should check it out. It'll give you a good understanding of the rolls and the wrappers and how they came into existence. So if you're into that kind of thing, I strongly suggest you head on over there and go check out Christopher Rhodes' blog post, Adventures in Coin Roll Hunting. I will post links to it down below as well. Now, another one to check out is a YouTube channel called Coin Help You that is run by Daniel Malone. Now, Daniel Malone can also be found on Facebook, but he is a coin dealer. He has a coin shop, and he runs websites and just all kinds of stuff. The guy is chock full of information. He really knows what he's talking about. Now, he's currently a little over 600 subscribers, and we really need to push him up over 1,000 because the guy really does know what he's talking about with his videos. Now, he recently did do a video on how to tell if a coin has been cleaned, and I strongly suggest heading over and checking that video out. He goes into full detail explaining about clean coins in a way that I don't think I could do a better job of. So go over and check it out. It really breaks that down. I will post links to both his YouTube channel and to the video that I'm talking about right now. But definitely go give him some support. Go help out his channel. Go check out that video on clean coins. It is extremely informative. He really goes into fine detail explaining exactly how the coin grading companies can tell if a coin has been cleaned. So go on over and check out Coin Help You. And also, while you are at it, CoinOp on YouTube is currently at 93,000 subscribers. So we are on our push for 100,000 subscribers. So if you are not yet subscribed to CoinOp on YouTube, click the subscribe button. Also, click the notification bell. That way you get notified when we upload new videos. Now, if you enjoyed this video, do us a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button or leave us a comment. The more that you interact with our channel, the more it encourages YouTube to share our content with more and more people. And as always, until next time, have fun.